Jake Paul went from Disney Channel YouTuber to knocking out UFC legends, made $40 million fighting a 58-year-old man, and told the world he'd become a boxing champion. Then, December 19th, 2025 happened. Anthony Joshua broke his jaw in 2 places, knocked him out in the 6th round, and exposed what everyone already knew.
I mean, it's not that hard to get beat, but it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
Jake Paul was never a real fighter. He was a circus act that just ran out of clowns to beat.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua's a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's active.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. Then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't.
Do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, look, that last shot would have knocked out a lot.
This is the story of how a troll built a boxing career on hype, carefully selected opponents, and one massive lie, that he belonged in the ring with actual champions. And this is how reality caught up with him in Miami, in front of 19,000 people, with his jaw literally shattered and his delusion finally broken.
And I got dropped. But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more.
January 30th, 2020, Miami, Florida. A 23-year-old YouTuber with bleached hair steps into a boxing ring for his first professional fight. Jake Paul, former Disney Channel actor, Vine star, professional troll, infamous for getting his house raided by the FBI, causing neighborhood riots, and doing whatever it took to stay relevant. And now, boxing. His opponent, AnEsonGib, another YouTuber, another guy who'd never been in a real fight before this moment. First round, 90 seconds in, Jake throws a right hand. Gib goes down, gets up. Jake swarms him. Down again, up again. Third knockdown. Referee stops it. 1 minute, 59 seconds. That's all it took. Jake Paul, the younger brother who somehow was more obnoxious, just knocked someone out cold. And the most terrifying part? He looked like he enjoyed it. The Gib fight was a joke. Everyone knew it. But Jake didn't care about the critics. He cared about one thing: going viral.
I'm getting hit in the face every single day while I could be playing soccer in Saudi. I'm friends with the Saudis / football. I was on the A team in 7th grade. I have a really good kick. I can run fast, and I'll knock out everyone that with us.
And 10 months later, he delivered the single most viral knockout in internet history. But this time, his opponent wouldn't be another YouTuber. This time, Jake Paul was going to knock out a professional athlete in front of Mike Tyson and 1.6 million pay-per-view buyers. November 28th, 2020, Los Angeles. The undercard to Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr., one of the biggest combat sports events of the year. Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson, an NBA player, 3-time slam dunk champion, professional athlete with elite hand-eye coordination and explosiveness. This was supposed to be competitive. This was supposed to prove Jake could hang with a real athlete. Round 1. They trade punches. Robinson throws wild haymakers, lands a few, misses most. Jake stays patient. End of the round. Jake lands a right hand. Robinson stumbles. Saved by the bell, round 2. 45 seconds in. Jake lands an overhand right. Nate Robinson's body goes stiff. Falls face first onto the canvas like someone unplugged him. Unconscious before he hits the mat.
He's trying to get started. Oh, Lord! Mamma mia, the problem child proving to be a big problem.
The crowd erupts. Social media explodes. Memes everywhere. That image, Nate Robinson face down on the canvas, becomes the most shared knockout image of 2020. Jake Paul just knocked out a professional athlete, brutally, mercilessly, on the biggest stage he'd ever been on. And here's what nobody wanted to admit. It was impressive. Nate Robinson was a legit athlete, and Jake made him look like he didn't belong there. After the Robinson knockout, Jake couldn't be ignored anymore. He'd proven he could knock out a professional athlete. But athletes aren't fighters. So Dana White, UFC president, went on Mike Tyson's podcast and made a bet. $1 million that Jake Paul would lose to his next opponent.
I'll bet $1 million
Oh, here we
that
go.
he loses this fucking fight.
Dana White.
Bet $1 million.
Because this time, Jake wasn't fighting a YouTuber or a basketball player. This time, he was fighting a real fighter. Ben Askren, Olympic wrestler, former Bellator and one championship champion. A guy who'd fought the best in the world. And Dana White was so confident Ben would expose Jake that he put $1 million on it. April 17th, 2021. Atlanta, Georgia, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. The first time Jake fought someone who'd actually competed in professional combat sports at the highest level. Ben Funky Askren, former NCAA divisional wine wrestler, Bellator welterweight champion, one championship welterweight champion, fought in the UFC, fought Robbie Lawler, fought Jorge Masvidal, who KO'd him in 5 seconds, but still. This was supposed to be the reality check. The moment Jake Paul got exposed, there was just one problem. Ben Askren was retired. He was 36 years old. He'd had hip surgery, and he'd never been a striker to begin with. His entire game was wrestling. But on paper, it looked legitimate. Former world champion. That's what the posters said. Round 1. They touch gloves. Jake throws a jab. Askren looks confused. Doesn't know how to get inside. Jake keeps jabbing him. 1 minute into the fight, Jake throws a jab. Askren reaches out to block it. Jake throws a right hand behind the jab. Catches Askren clean. Ben's legs wobble. He stumbles backward. Falls into the ropes. The referee steps in. Waves it off. 1 minute, 18 seconds. Dana White just lost $1 million. Jake's in the ring screaming, talking shit. Where's Dana? Where's Connor? And here's the thing. That knockout looked legit. Clean right hand. Former world champion knocked out. Jake Paul was 3-0 with 3 knockouts. But if you actually watched the fight, Ben Askren looked like he'd never been in a boxing ring before. Because he hadn't. He was a wrestler who'd retired, had hip surgery, and took a fat paycheck to get hit in the face by a YouTuber. Still, on paper, Jake Paul just knocked out a world champion, and that's when the pattern became clear. Jake had a formula. Fight guys with big names but compromised skill sets. And it was working.
Because I've always been curious about this, because like, you know, you saw the Askren fight, we saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that like Jake had these fights fixed, and there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You couldn't pay me.
His next opponent, Tyron Woodley, former UFC welterweight champion. 5 title defenses, known for one-punch knockout power. On paper, this was Jake's toughest test yet. But there was one thing Jake knew that the public didn't. Tyron Woodley hadn't won a fight in 3 years. And in the UFC, when you stop winning, you don't just lose fights. You lose something else. Something harder to get back. 3 fights. 3 first-round knockouts. 1 YouTuber, 1 NBA player, 1 world champion. Jake Paul's record was spotless. His knockouts were brutal, and the world was starting to believe maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a joke anymore. But August 29th, 2021 was coming. Cleveland, Ohio, Tyron Woodley. And for the first time in Jake Paul's career, someone was going to make him look human. Someone was going to rock him. Someone was going to expose the cracks. And Jake barely escaped. But what happened 4 months later in their rematch? That's when Jake proved he wasn't just a hype job. That's when he delivered the knockout that made everyone, critics, haters, even Dana White, shut up for a minute. August 29th, 2021, Cleveland, Ohio. Tyron Woodley walks into the ring as the most dangerous opponent Jake Paul has ever faced. Former UFC welterweight champion, 5 title defenses. Known for one thing, knocking people unconscious with 1 right hand. The tale of the tape looked terrifying. The reality was different. Tyron hadn't won a fight in 3 years, hadn't knocked anyone out since 2018, lost 4 straight in the UFC. At 39 years old, he wasn't the same fighter, but still, this was a real test. A professional fighter, a former champion, a guy who could actually hurt Jake. The fight goes 8 rounds, all the way to the scorecards. For the first time in Jake Paul's career, he doesn't get a knockout. Round 4. Tyron lands a clean right hand. Jake's legs buckle. He stumbles backward into the ropes. For a moment, just a moment, it looks like Jake Paul's about to get knocked out. Tyron rushes forward, throws punches, but he doesn't commit. Doesn't go for the finish. Backs off.
Right hand staggers Jake Paul.
Jake survives, makes it to the end of the round. Final scorecards. Split decision. 2 judges score it, 77-75 for Jake. One judge scores it 77-75 for Tyron. Jake wins, barely, and for the first time he looks vulnerable, hittable, human.
The winner by split decision and still undefeated, the Problems.
After the fight, Jake had a proposition. Tyron wanted a rematch, and Jake offered him one on one condition. Tyron had to get "I love Jake Paul" tattooed on his body, a humiliating bet designed to kill any respect Tyron had left. And Tyron agreed. But what Jake didn't know was that December 18th, 2021, the rematch would give him the knockout that changed everything. The knockout that made the world finally take him seriously. The knockout that convinced Jake Paul he could fight anyone. December 18th, 2021, Tampa, Florida. Tyron Woodley walks into the ring with a fresh tattoo. "I love Jake Paul" on his middle finger. The ultimate humiliation. The rematch nobody asked for. Jake needs this. Needs to prove the first fight wasn't a fluke. Needs the knockout. Round 6. 6 minutes left in the fight. Jake's winning on the scorecards but hasn't hurt Tyron yet. Tyron throws a jab. Jake slips it. Winds up a right hand. Everything Jake has, shoulder rotation, hip drive, body weight, goes into that punch. Catches Tyron flush on the chin. Tyron goes stiff. Falls face first onto the canvas. Out cold. The knockout heard around the world. This wasn't a YouTuber, this wasn't a basketball player. This was a former UFC champion, a guy known for knockout power, getting brutally finished. Jake stands over him. Who's next? Anybody want it? And for a moment it seemed possible. Maybe Jake Paul actually was a real fighter. After the Woodley knockout, Jake went on a tear. Beat Anderson Silva by decision. A 47-year-old legend way past his prime. Beat Nate Diaz, beat Andre August, beat Ryan Borland, beat Mike Perry. Every opponent carefully selected, every fight designed to pad the record without real risk. But February 26, 2023 was coming. Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, Tommy Fury. And this time, Jake couldn't cherry-pick his way out. This time, he had to fight someone his own age, his own size, with actual boxing training. This time, reality was waiting. February 26, 2023. Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, Tommy Fury. 8-0 as a professional boxer. Half-brother of Tyson Fury, actual boxer, not a YouTuber, not a retired MMA fighter, not a 47-year-old legend, a real boxer. Same age as Jake, same size as Jake, similar experience level. For the first time in his career, Jake Paul didn't have an advantage. 8 rounds. Tommy outworks Jake from the opening bell. Jab, jab, jab. Constant pressure. Throws 302 punches to Jake's 157. Lands 88 to Jake's 49. Jake has moments. Lands a big left hand in round 8 that drops Tommy briefly, but it's not enough. Final scorecards 76-73, 76-73 for Fury. One judge has it 75-74 for Jake. Split decision. Tommy Fury wins. Jake Paul just lost, for the first time, to a boxer, someone his own age and size.
Scores the contest 75-74. He has it for Paul. 76-73 for Fury. To the winner by split decision, Tommy!
And the excuse train started immediately. Judges were biased. Saudi Arabia wanted the Fury name to win. I had an injury going into camp, but everyone saw the truth. When Jake fought someone who could actually box, he lost. After the Tommy Fury loss, Jake had a choice. Fight more real boxers and risk losing again, or go back to the formula that made him famous. Big names, compromised opponents, guaranteed wins.
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy Fury
He lost
fight.
a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
And November 15th, 2024, Jake made his choice. Mike Tyson, 58 years old. Netflix, 108 million viewers, the biggest boxing event in history, and the most shameless fight Jake Paul would ever take. Mike Tyson was 58 years old. He'd suffered a stomach ulcer that nearly killed him. He'd lost half his blood. He'd retired 19 years ago. And Jake Paul, 27 years old in his prime, fought him anyway for $40 million on Netflix and won by unanimous decision. The world called it a disgrace, called it elder abuse, called it rigged. And Jake didn't care, because 1 month later, he'd announced the fight that would finally answer the question everyone was asking. Is Jake Paul a real fighter, or just a circus act who ran out of old men to beat? December 19th, 2025. Anthony Joshua, two-time heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, the biggest, hardest test of Jake's life. And this time, there'd be no excuses, no sympathy, no escape. November 2025, the announcement everyone expected but nobody thought would actually happen. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Not an exhibition, not a gimmick. A professional heavyweight boxing match, sanctioned, 8 rounds, on Netflix. Anthony Joshua, 6'6", 243 pounds. One of the most decorated heavyweights of his generation. Jake Paul, 6'1", 216 pounds. A cruiserweight moving up to heavyweight for the second time. The size difference alone was terrifying. The boxing world erupted immediately, not with excitement, with concern. Eddie Hearn, this is dangerous. I'm not going to lie, there are genuine safety concerns here. Ben Davison, Joshua's trainer, publicly questioned if the fight should even happen. And fans were convinced it wouldn't. Days before the fight, when Jake posted about a major announcement, thousands assumed he was pulling out. But Jake wasn't backing down. He was all in, $184 million purse split between them. Netflix streaming globally, the biggest platform of his life, and the most dangerous opponent he'd ever face. December 18th, 2025, Miami, the weigh-in. Anthony Joshua steps on the scale, 243 pounds. Jake Paul, 216 pounds. 27-pound difference, 5-inch height difference, 6-inch reach difference. Jake talks shit anyway. I'm the upset of the year. I'm gonna shock the world. Same thing happened with Andy Ruiz. Nobody gave him a chance, and he knocked Joshua out. But the Ruiz comparison didn't hold up. Andy Ruiz was a skilled heavyweight with elite hand speed and a granite chin. Jake Paul was a YouTuber. The betting odds reflected reality. Joshua was a massive favorite, between 1,000 and 1,200 on most sportsbooks. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gave Jake a real chance. December 19th, 2025, 7:30 p.m., Kaseya Center, Miami, 19,600 people. Millions watching on Netflix. Jake walks out first, wearing a Hulk Hogan tribute outfit made from alligator skin, controversial rapper Tekashi, 69 by his side, performing Billy while Jake raps along. The most shameless entrance possible. Logan Paul in his corner. The whole circus on display. But when Anthony Joshua walks out in military camouflage, the arena shakes. This is what a real heavyweight champion looks like. And in about 18 minutes, Jake Paul would learn exactly why you don't call out Olympic gold medalist when you're a cruiserweight with a 12-1 record built on fighting MMA guys and old men. Round 1. Jake's game plan is clear. Move, circle. Don't let Joshua set his feet. Make him miss, survive, and it works for 3 minutes. Jake's lateral movement is good. He's making Joshua miss, landing his jab occasionally. Round 1 ends. Jake's corner is encouraging. You're doing great. Keep moving. Round 2. Same thing. Jake circles, jabs, ties up when Joshua gets close. The crowd's booing. They want action. Joshua throws a big right hand. Misses. Jake sticks his tongue out at him. Mocking, taunting, still trying to make it a show, still playing the character. But Joshua doesn't react, doesn't get mad, just keeps stalking. Round 3. More of the same. Jake's fighting smart, survival mode, but Joshua's patient. He's seen this before. Round 4. 3 minutes in. Joshua feints a jab. Jake reacts. Joshua throws a right uppercut to the body. Jake's legs buckle. He clinches immediately, but Joshua's not done. They break. Joshua throws a right hand to the head. Jake goes down, not out, but hurt. He gets up at the count of 7. The referee checks him. Fight continues. Jake survives the round. Barely. Round 5. Jake's tired. The movement's slowing down. Joshua's cutting off the ring better. 90 seconds in. Joshua lands a left hook to the body, then a right uppercut to the head. Jake drops to one knee, takes the 8 count, gets up. Referee asks if he can continue. Jake nods. 30 seconds later, Joshua lands another right hand. Jake's down again. 3rd time. This time he's wobbling when he stands. The referee could stop it. Doesn't. Lets it continue. Jake makes it to the end of the round on pure survival instinct. Between rounds, Logan Paul is yelling from ringside, "It's good, bro. You're the old guy now. You've lost every single round. This could be a legacy ender, AJ."
It's good, bro. You're the old guy now. That's crazy. You've lost every single round. This could be a legacy ender, AJ.
Playing mind games, trying to help his brother, but it's pointless. Everyone can see what's coming. Round 6. 1 minute, 31 seconds. Joshua lands a huge uppercut. Jake's hurt bad, exhausted, barely standing, and then Jake sticks his tongue out at Joshua again. Not showboating this time, not mocking. This looks different, desperate, delirious. Some people online would later claim it was a signal begging Joshua to stop. Jake would deny it, say he was just trying to have fun. But Joshua doesn't stop. He throws a perfect right hand, clean, flush, everything behind it. Jake's eyes glaze over. His body goes limp. He crashes to the canvas. The referee doesn't even count. Jake's done. 19,000 people erupt. Anthony Joshua's hand is raised. Jake Paul is sitting on the canvas, holding his jaw, trying to figure out what planet he's on. After the referee stopped it, Jake tried to stand up for the post-fight interview. Tried to be gracious. But something was wrong. His jaw wasn't aligned right. His teeth looked wrong. And when he touched his face, he knew. Anthony Joshua had broken his jaw. Not just cracked it, broken it in 2 places. And in a few hours, Jake Paul would be in a Miami hospital, getting emergency surgery, having titanium plates installed, having teeth removed, and confronting a reality he'd spent 5 years avoiding. He was never a real fighter. December 20th, 2025, 3 a.m., Mount Sinai Hospital, Miami. Jake Paul posts a photo from his hospital bed. 2 thumbs up, bandages on his face. Caption: surgery went well, thanks for all the love and support. 2 titanium plates on each side, some teeth removed. Have to eat liquids for 7 days. The x-ray shows it clearly. Jaw broken in 2 places. Clean fractures on both sides. Later that day, Jake posts again. Double broken jaw, gimme Canelo in 10 days. Still trolling, still talking shit, even with his jaw wired shut. But this time, nobody's laughing with him, and the accusations started flooding in. Viral posts with hundreds of thousands of likes. Jake sticking his tongue out was a signal to AJ to stop hitting him. This was fixed. AJ violated the agreement. Lou DiBella, veteran boxing promoter. This wasn't a real fight. Joshua was pulling punches. Sue me if you want, but this isn't good for boxing. The tongue moment became the center of conspiracy theories. Was Jake begging Joshua to ease up? Was it a pre-planned signal?
Did you see what happened with Jake Paul and Joshua?
Yes.
You heard the dark theory?
Yeah.
People are saying that he was targeted to be assassinated.
Yes, fam.
Why? Because he didn't follow the script on the Jake Paul fight. Think about it, bro. All these people already think the Jake Paul fight is rigged. If you watch closely in all the Jake Paul fights, he does a signal with his tongue. That is the warning that he's going too much off script to chill out. So see how he does that tongue thing? So he wiggles his tongue because he wants him to chill out. Mike Tyson hit him hard, and then right away he puts his tongue out, right? Look what happens here. He puts his tongue out, mocking him because he's gonna go off script. And right after he does that, what happens? He gets his job broke. These big billionaires and millionaires that put money onto the fight, what if they put hundreds of millions of dollars into this, bro?
Yes,
and then what they wanted to do was take out Anthony Joshua for not sticking to the script, bro. And what just happened? Anthony Joshua was in a car accident, and 2 of his best friends died.
Yeah, to be honest, it might be a warning because when they send off hits, they're probably not gonna get the guy right away. They have to seem like it's an accident.
I think straight up, they were just trying to kill him. He just happened to survive. I think he was supposed to die there.
Word.
Yeah.
Jake's team immediately threatened lawsuits. Naxa Badorian, MVP co-founder. Our lawyers are actively going after people. The claim that there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake is mind-blowing. This is defamation. On his brother's podcast, Jake addressed it directly. I was just trying to have fun. That's what it's all about. Win, lose, or draw, I love this sport. I had a blast in there. But the damage was done. The same pattern that followed the Mike Tyson fight. Rigged, fixed, scripted, now haunted the Anthony Joshua loss. The difference? This time Jake's jaw was broken in 2 places. This time he got knocked out cold. This time there was nothing fake about it. Oscar de la Hoya, that Tyson fight should have been your last. You're not a real fighter, you never were. Teddy Atlas, he made a lot of money being a circus act, but eventually the circus leaves town, and all you're left with is broken bones. Even fans who defended him turned. The comments are brutal. You fought a 58-year-old man and acted like you were tough. AJ broke more than your jaw. He broke your whole fake career. Stick to YouTube, bro.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua's a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active.
December 25th, 2025. Christmas Day. Jake posts, Merry Christmas to all around the world. Never stop trying to be great. You are guaranteed 100% failure if you don't try. Motivational quote. The same persona, but something's different. In an interview with his brother Logan on the Impulsive podcast, Jake admits it. I won 2 rounds, then he won 2, then I got dropped. But I was doing good. My cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy. and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves, so I was feeling his power a lot more. It was a great experience. I learned a lot in there.
I won 2 rounds
For sure.
and then he won 2, and then I got dropped. But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there.
For the first time, Jake Paul isn't making excuses, isn't claiming robbery, isn't talking about a rematch. He's just accepting it. Anthony Joshua broke more than Jake Paul's jaw on December 19th, 2025. He broke the illusion.
Are you in pain?
Yeah, but it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two
then
plates?
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just 1.
8 screws.
A constructed narrative. The lie that Jake had been selling to the world and to himself for 5 years. Jake Paul was never going to be a boxing champion. He was never going to beat elite fighters. He was a YouTuber who learned to box well enough to beat other YouTubers, past prime MMA fighters, and a 58-year-old legend who should have retired years ago. But when he stepped in with a real champion, reality hit him like a right hand to the jaw, and it broke him. Jake Paul went from Disney Channel to knocking out Ben Askren, made $40 million fighting a 58-year-old man, told the world he'd become a champion. Then reality showed up in Miami with a broken jaw and the truth he'd been running from his entire career. You can only avoid real fighters for so long. You can only cherry-pick opponents for so long. You can only build a record on smoke and mirrors for so long. Eventually, someone calls your bluff. And for Jake Paul, that someone was Anthony Joshua, but Jake's not the only fighter who built a career on hype and delusion. There's another name in boxing who talked his way to millions, fought carefully selected opponents, and convinced himself he was the best in the world. Until one night, reality caught up with him too. Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, 42 knockouts, heavyweight champion of the world. He told everyone he had the most devastating right hand in boxing history.
I have so many champions, 3 and 4. It should be one champion, one face, one name, and his name's Deontay Wilder.
He knocked out tomato cans for years, and when he finally fought Tyson Fury, a real champion, the world watched him get exposed 3 times in a row. This is the story of the baddest man in boxing who wasn't actually that bad, and how Tyson Fury broke him mentally, physically, and spiritually. Subscribe, because every hype train eventually crashes, every illusion eventually breaks, every fighter eventually meets the one opponent they can't beat, reality.